Hello and welcome. I am Alicia, and you're at the channel of Alicia's Place. And today's question is, will low back pain ever go away? So kind of jumping right in, I don't really want to make this video super long. I did want to kind of just touch on some things that, if done consistently, can help to reverse low back pain and basically minimize it to the point where you don't feel it necessarily, unless you do too much, right? I want to say once we start getting sensitivity in the low back, our brain can kind of get stuck on the low back pain. And so some things that can help, reduce low back pain or help in kind of like the recovery, of it and reversing it, is really focusing on the abdomen. So you have to kind of understand that our body has what are called agonists and antagonists, and then there's also synergists. But the two main groups that really need to be balanced are the agonist and the antagonist. Why is this? So the agonist is generally the side that is going into a contraction or needing to go into a contraction. The antagonists are going to be the muscles that need to lengthen in order for the other side to contract. Now, this is not really known by patients. Manual therapists, we all know this. And it's interesting when you start working with a patient that has been dealing with chronic pain in such a manner that it's been years, they're 5 years, 6 years, some even 20 years in. And like I was talking about in the other video, there's this process of unraveling and unwinding everything that has accumulated. And by this time, after a year, the person has already started, some people are using items such as walkers and wheelchairs or even canes. That's kind of when those things start to kind of creep in, because they're basically stuck in this compensation, and no one has really educated you guys on what it takes to balance the body out. It's really awesome because I'm studying corrective exercise, and because I want to start really incorporating that. I'm seeing that that's lacking, even though people go to a physical therapy. It's kind of just kind of this basic thing, and not really helping the person in both aspects, as far as balancing the body, but then also with the body work. Because with corrective exercise, basically, it's very similar to how I start a clinical massage treatment, where there's an assessment. I'm looking at the posture, I'm looking at the movement that is either creating pain, or just in general, how you move, how do you walk, how do you bend over to pick something up, how do you reach up to get something high. Looking and assessing these things, are very key to unlocking what is actually happening, where's the dysfunction happening in the muscles or in the skeletal system. Because if it's a skeletal system, then that's kind of when it's time to partner with a chiropractor to help kind of get that alignment, or even a structural integration therapist. I don't think I'll be studying that too deep. I mean, I may as the years go on, because it is really relevant, like the structural, deviations and dysfunctions. But, you are able to reverse it to where, yes, low back pain can go away. Now, when you start having surgeries on your low back, I would say surgeries, major injuries, if you've been in an auto accident and it was a major injury, those things are really going to take a long time to heal. You guys have to understand that there's not much blood flow in those areas, because there's a lot of ligament and tissue that's not necessarily muscle. And so the blood supply there is pretty limited, to say the least. And so, I have an example. I've been working with this one patient where basically it was a work injury involving a forklift and his back. So basically, like, his back kind of got split in half. Not to laugh, but like, just to kind of get that image out there. He kind of laughs at it now. Like, when he thinks about it, he's like, man, like, it's crazy, how, something, even though it was a serious injury, it's still taking a long time to heal. And he's just like, man, it's crazy how long it's taking, because he has so much sensitivity around that area, like the sacrum, like I was speaking about in the other video, that the sacrum is a key. Like, it literally puts the two halves of the body together, and it's a very integral part that if there's dysfunction there, or if there's an injury there, then there's likely to be dysfunction in a lot of the kinetic chains. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the video here. I didn't want to make it super long, but I did want to just address that question of, will low back pain ever go away? And yes, like I said, a moment ago, exercising, strengthening, balancing the agonist and the antagonist, and then also strengthening the synergist. Once the agonist and antagonists are, starting to come into some type of balance, then working on the synergists that help to do the same motion or action. So if you are experiencing, any type of low back pain, if you've been like trying to find someone to help, relieve certain things that you've been having to deal with for years, months, or even, recent, feel free to go to aliciasplace.com and book your session. I will check you guys out on the next one. Peace.